Line drive, base hit, center field. And it is a fair ball, and the Indians will walk it off yet again.
You might as well call them the Cleveland comebackers because that's all the Indians seem to do. In the last week, they've gone from 6 games back of first place to being 1 game back, and it really just shows that 60 games, it's not enough to determine if a team is a first place team or a third place team. I mean, look at the 2019 Nationals. In their first 60 games, they started off 19-31, and then they stormed back to make the World Series and win the World Series. So I'm excited for everything to go back to normal, hopefully in 2021, so we can really see who is the cream of the crop. But 4 different teams are battling for the final spot in the National League. 7 teams have already secured it. We have a ton of walk-offs. Javier Baez is hitting left-handed. We have the bat flip of the year. And then we're going to go ahead and start with the longest home run of the year coming off the bat at Ronald Acuna Jr. I'm going to show it, and I want you all to let me know in the comment section down below. How far do you think it went?
Acuña Jr. leading off. Swing and a high fly ball. That's wallop deep left. Ronald Acuna Jr. bat flip. It's bombs away. 1-0. A leadoff home run. Freddie shoots one deep toward left center field. That ball is headed to the track, to the wall, and it's gone! Freddie Freeman walks us off.
Ronald Acuna Jr. hit a 495-foot home run. That is the longest of 2020 so far and the 5th longest in the StatCast era. And then how can you forget to mention Freddie Freeman? I honestly think that no one can really compete with him at this moment in time for MVP because the Braves are a first place team and he's almost up to 60 RBIs on the season. I think that he's going to win it over Mookie Betts, Manny Machado, and Fernando Tatis. But let me know if you think otherwise. Kyle Wright goes 6 2/3 solid innings, and Marcell Ozuna drives in his 55th RBI. Do not mess with the Braves, especially if they can get some contributions from Kyle Wright and any of the other sneaky young players that they have in that rotation. We're going to show 2 games back-to-back because these teams are directly impacted by each other's wins or losses. We have the Astros at the Rangers, and we have the Angels at the Dodgers. If the Astros lose and the Angels win, the Angels can still stay alive and compete for a spot in the American League. Can they make it happen? Check it out.
And he hits that ball well, just 22 years old. He's talked about the learning curve this year. Lifts this one deep out to right field. It's gone!
The 2-1 pitch, swinging a bouncing ball right side. Altuve has it. He throws home wide of the plate. Kiner Falefa scores, and the Rangers walk it off.
Trout will be the batter. Trout lifts a high fly ball. That ball's carrying deep out into left center field. It is Trout here.
Is coming up, and there's a fly ball deep down the left field line. Hit off in the bottom of the 5th.
Here's with no outs.
Yes, Smith pinch hit.
Peterson rifles one to the left side, pinch hit, RBI hit.
Sam Huff and Joey Gallo, they get the job done and they beat the Astros. All the Angels had to do was secure that W against Clayton Kershaw, but unfortunately the Angels staff could not. They couldn't get it done, and they are officially knocked out of the 2020 regular season and postseason. I feel kind of bad for Angels fans because Mike Trout only has 12 playoff at-bats. That's 12 more than you and I watching this right now, unless for some whatever reason you've played baseball before and you made the playoffs. That's 12 more than anyone else watching this video. That is not good enough for the greatest player of our lifetimes. I almost wish that sometimes he was drafted to the Yankees or something like that. But either way, the American League is officially set. So as you all can see right now, here are the top 8 teams. Now the only thing that can change is just who plays who. Now let's say that the Blue Jays lose a couple games, they're going to stay in 8th place. Let's say they win a couple and the Indians lose. Maybe and perhaps there's going to be some flip-flopping in the standings. But for right now, here are the top 8 teams. We're going to go ahead and move over to the National League just for one quick series because the Padres are facing the Giants in a doubleheader. The Padres are fine. They've already clinched their spot. They don't have anything to worry about. But in game number 1, the Giants need this W. Who takes the cake?
In.
Hit high. On the ground and a base hit. High and deep to right. It is out of here. Dubon. Ball game.
So with that win, the Giants still stay in 8th place for the National League. We all know that the NL West has been secured by the Dodgers and the Padres. So no one is going to supersede that. If you're the Rockies or the Giants or any other team in that division, you have to make the top 8 teams in the National League. And with that win, they stay afloat. But then in game number 2, remember how I said that today's theme was the playoff race as well as the walk-offs? Yeah, this combines both of those.
In the air to left field, struck pretty well. Back goes Dickerson, looking up, and it is gone. That is not good. And he's going to leave this game. Oh, no. And this one is in the air to right field. It is deep, and back goes Duggar at the wall. It's a walk-off win for the Padres.
Fernando Tatis and Trent Grisham, they flexed their muscles yesterday and they showed their raw strength as the Padres come from behind. Gabe Kapler kind of threw the game away. I'll give credit to Gabe Kapler. Maybe the Phillies bullpen was to blame in 2019 as opposed to him not being so great, but he didn't make the best decisions yesterday. Even with that loss, the Giants are still in 8th place after Wilmer Flores. He's catching fire at the right time. Maybe he can carry his squad into the playoffs. Now, unfortunately, even though the Padres did win that game, they kind of lost the day because they lost game number 1 and then they lose Dinelson Lamet and Will Myers in the same game a couple days after they lost Mike Clevenger. They should be able to come back in 2, maybe 3 weeks and not miss the entire postseason, but they're probably going to miss some time. So yesterday was a big fat L for San Diego. We have yet another walk-off, and this one is courtesy of another home run off the bat of Mark Canha. The Mariners at the A's. This game doesn't mean anything, but it was fun, okay? It's a walk-off.
He throws, and Odom, it's a high fly ball, left center, well hit. Grossman going back in the alley at the track, right to the wall. He's there.
In the air to right field, it's hit pretty well. Bishop going back. Bishop still going back. And that baby is gone. The A's have walked it off in extra innings.
We're going to talk about the Cubs at the White Sox, the Battle of Chicago. Who won the trades? Was it the Cubs for getting Jose Quintana and sending away Eloy Jimenez? Or was it the other teams? I think, where did Javier Baez come from? Didn't he come from... I don't remember. Either way, I'm blanking on that. I can't remember if they drafted him or if he came from a trade. You guys will have to let me know. But the theme of yesterday's Chicago game was feelings got hurt because homers and bat flips, yeah, they were abundant yesterday.
Now the 1-1. Contreras drives one in the air, right field deep. That ball's got a chance. Gone. Opposite field, 3-run homer. Wilson Contreras. Baez drives one in the air, left center field. That ball's back toward the wall, and it is going to be gone.
It's kind of funny how the White Sox got mad at Wilson Contreras for that bat flip, because if you guys did not watch the game, later on, Jimmy Cordero of the White Sox actually hit Wilson in the arm, which is funny because the White Sox have Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson is the #1 bat flipper in all of baseball, so if any team should not get their feelings hurt, it's the Chicago White Sox. It got so bad yesterday that Javier Baez went into the batter's box. Now, he's done this before. He hit left-handed, and he had a double. So I'm hoping that MLB The Show sometime soon makes him a switch hitter, because the man can hit in either side.
It looks good. It's legit.
And he's got one in the gap. He is a .500 hitter left-handed as he pulls into second with a double.
Mike Moustakas hit well into center field. Buxton going back, makes the jump. 3-1.
You could tell Cincinnati this game and this series is.
There's a base hit for Edward Colina. Mike Moustakas golfed into right field. Kepler looks up.
You just saw it. The Reds grabbed a playoff spot after a pretty easy 7-2 win over the Twins. One player I do want to shout out. I know Mike Moustakas went off and everything like that. Shogo Akiyama drove in an RBI, and he is now hitting .310 in September. He doesn't have a home run on the season, but he's starting to kind of be a leadoff hitter, and that's exactly what the Reds were needing because they were bottom 5 in offense for quite some time. So if he can continue to get on base and be a run setter, that's going to be a huge plus for the Cincinnati Reds. Now what we're going to do is we're going to ask Joey Votto what he thinks of his team going into the playoffs.
I like this team much more than I like those teams, and I really like those teams. But I think we're a nightmare, and I think everybody knows that. I can't wait.
We're going to move on to a team that also just made the playoffs for the first time in quite some time. The Miami Marlins. I'm going to tip my cap because Derek Jeter got so much guff for trading away Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich. He let D. Gordon walk, and then JT Realmuto went to the Phillies. But they got some good pieces in return, and they would not make the playoffs without Sixto Sanchez and Jorge Alfaro, the two pieces that they got in exchange for Mr. JT. So the Marlins, they get a W over the Yankees, and then they celebrate in Yankee Stadium. I know a lot of Yankees fans were like, get the heck out of our stadium. You can't be doing that, but tip of the cap, round of applause. They make the playoffs with a budget squad, the first time that they've done so in 17 years. The Phillies were playing the Rays yesterday. I think this was a rematch of the 2008 World Series or something like that. I'm pretty sure it was the Phillies versus the Rays. Again, I could be wrong. I'm trying to pull things out of my head. But this is a must-win game for the Phillies. Did they win? Did they do it? No.
There's a liner, a base hit into center.
A single and a walk.
Shot back into center field. Well tagged. Kingery's got. And a line drive base hit into right. Here comes Setsugo in to score. Renfroe heads to the plate. Rays scored 2 on
the Phillies unfortunately blow another 3-run lead. They are the #1 team in baseball at doing that. That was their 7th or 8th blown save when they're up 3 runs. You just can't have that happen. And with 2 games left in the season, as you can see by the standings, the Giants are going to be their #1 team in their way. The Phillies cannot lose a single game, which is a tough task considering they are playing the Tampa Bay Rays. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to another team that has to win out, the Brewers. They are playing the Cardinals, and I think the Cardinals are pretty safe in terms of that standings because they're in 5th place. There's not enough games for them to be knocked out of the playoffs. But the Brewers win game #1 behind a pretty dominant bullpen performance. They went all 7 innings. It was 3-0 because Christian Yelich hit his 7th home run. He raises his OPS to 785. So for all you batting average haters, yes, he's hitting 207, but 785, it's actually a pretty decent season. And then in game #2, we're still talking about the Brewers at the Cardinals. The Cardinals get their payback. Ponce de Leon throws 6 innings, 1 earned run. And then in the last 15 days, Dylan Carlson is hitting .345 with 11 RBIs. Colton Wong is hitting .305 in the month of September. So after that split, the Cardinals are tied for 2nd place in the Central with the Reds. They're still in 5th place, so they're going to be fine. Whereas Milwaukee is about 2-ish games back of the 8th spot in the National League. So again, I've said this before in the last couple videos. You're going to want to hit that subscribe button because the race is coming down to the finish, and you're not going to want to miss it. Now, the final games from yesterday, we're going to go ahead and talk about them real quick. We're going to roll Fast Cast with Fuzzy back to back to back. We have the Tigers at the Royals with Alberto Mondesi going 7 for 7 in his last 2 games with 4 stolen bases. This is exciting because he can be a 20 home run, 40 stolen base guy at his top level. He has 16 stolen bases in the month of September. That is ridiculous. The Rockies get dominated by Zach Gallen yesterday in game #1. He goes 10 strikeouts, and Christian Walker is now up to 34 RBIs. Just a great season after repeating 2019. But the Rockies, yeah, they don't come back again in game #2, so they get swept, and they are officially eliminated in the postseason. And then last but not least, Nate Pearson gets his first MLB win in a relief appearance as the Blue Jays score 10 runs. A very meaningless game. Every single game that we talked about was pretty meaningless, so that's why we kind of saved it towards the end. All right, everyone, well, that is going to do it for today's MLB recap. If you want to see more baseball content, I do post MLB The Show every single day. I also post a lot on TikTok. It's not cringy, I promise you. I think yesterday we got almost 400,000 views on TikTok, so we're trying to build up that platform as well. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe out there and enjoy this day in MLB history.
Toward the right.